Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Star Trek Fleet Command. So in this video, as the title hints at, I'm going to talk about the Legionary class warbird for the Romulan Star Empire faction. And I've been playing with this ship quite a bit. It's a lot of fun. It allows me to do a lot of higher tier event content, get a lot farther. And so I'm going to talk about the ship itself, the specs, kind of the class it fulfills in the game, and the reason I obtained this ship and why I think it's very useful overall. I'm also going to be doing some battle testing because there are some concerns I have about it that I hope are addressed in the long term of things. So that will come later in this video. You're going to see I'm going to be stitching together several videos because of the warp times. I didn't want to make it like dead air while I was warping from system to system. Plus I was looking for very specific starships to test this against. So to get started, as you know, this is a current offer in the store to buy the ship, to level it up. My ship is currently tier 6. It is definitely a very costly upgrade. A lot of titanium, a lot of dilithium, a lot of ore, and a lot of let me just go over here. So it is going to be a lot of ore and a lot of crystal. So as you can see here, those are at this tier. I don't really think I'm going to take it much further at this tier just because of how much it is requiring at this point. So I may take it up a little bit more, but I'm not sure how much more. So let's just start out at tier 6. The only thing I have upgraded is the warp drive. Okay, so that has allowed me to get to warp 40 systems. So with the officers that I have Nero, Javaid, and Libis. So I chose the officer setup is because this Romulan setup is designed for battleships. Javaid increases the armor, Libis increases the hull 30%, and Nero, of course, does his burning and increases attack percentages. In the bottom of my ship, I put all the Romulan crew officers. No specific reason why. It was just a Romulan ship. I'm doing a video on Romulans. I just decided to put all Romulans in there, so you can kind of see their general levels to get to this point. I believe Nero's at the first level. The rest are at second tiers. So this ship has 128k attack power, which is huge. So if I compare this against my Kumari, which is tier 5, that is 91k. Now, of course, that is a tier below, so keep that in mind. The defense and health is definitely much higher on my Legionary. So the defense is 145k, and the health is 202k. And if you take a look at this hull stat, Libis is extending that 30%. So that's not the typical hull stat of this ship, but because of the officer setup that I have, he is extending the hull health. So it's a very sturdy ship. If you compare this to my Legion, or to my Centurion, you can definitely see a big difference. So the Centurion is a glass cannon. It can go in there and blow up whatever it wants. Unfortunately, it suffers from a smaller hull and smaller shields. And I am waiting for Spock to get upgraded to the 4th tier to really see how this plays out. I'm really curious to see what he's going to do with the shields, because I know Spock on a Mayflower, he'll allow the Mayflower to survive and go for 50 rounds and just have a damaged hull and fully regenerated shields, which is really cool. So going back to the Legionary, the ship ability is the one thing I call into question. So the ship ability is its weapon damage is increased by 88% against Federation ships. This is kind of the reason why I did multiple battle scenarios, to kind of show you guys generally that that's not applying for whatever reason. So if you're getting it for that, I think this ship ability is bugged, and just be cautious about that. And we can definitely go through all of these stats right here. So it is pretty awesome for a battleship. I won't go through them individually. However, you do see all that here. So just in case Hugo wants to run some analytics, he can kind of see what the ship is sitting at right now. And then there's this description. Because I am a Star Trek geek and I love Star Trek. I've been watching it ever since I'm 9 years old. Star Trek Next Generation since season 2. I really want to talk about this story that was written up for this ship. This ship doesn't exist. This is kind of like the Centurion. The Centurion is a remade Valdor class Romulan warbird that wasn't introduced until the 23rd or 24th century. This ship is saying that they've been in production on Romulus since the early 2100s. Not right at all. The ships that the Romulan Star Empire had in productions around the 2100s were their birds of prey, and were specifically the birds of prey. I researched so many different websites, so much other geek fandom sites, and I could not find anything to substantiate this claim. But more than likely, what Scopely is doing is they're writing a story on the ship. They're creating a new ship for the game. They're making it modern, and that is great. But the geek in me just wants to clarify with you about this, is this ship was not at the Battle of Sharon. If it was, the Federation probably would have lost the Earth and Romulan War. So there's a little bit of geekness put in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the battle testing, and I'm going to come back and talk about the battle testing and see what we think of this ship when it's in the actual field. All right, guys, so here I am going to attack a level 35 Federation Explorer. And we're going to compare this against attacking ships of the same class for that 88% bonus. So definitely took some damage there. And let's take a look at that battle report. Alright, so it took 5 rounds. And we're doing about 36,000 in damage with the phasers. About 41 there. It critted at 67.35. Another crit, and then a big torpedo attack there. 35, 36. Okay. 42. So it is. It's doing about 35,000 attack with the phaser, so we're going to compare that against a couple other ships here. Alright guys, so in here we are looking for a level 35 Klingon Explorer, and it looks like there's plenty of them floating around. We want to see if it does, if we take any more damage from one of these than we did against a Federation ship, to see if this ability is working. It looks pretty similar to the Federation ship. Let's take a look. Did go 5 rounds. The Legionary is definitely doing the same amount of damage to that Klingon Explorer than we did to the Federation Explorer. So I'm going to test it again against the neutral and see what we come up with then. Alright guys, so now we are in the Azati system, and I am going to test my ship against a Legionary bandit. Alright, so that definitely did a better job. However, these neutrals are definitely not as high powered as the factions, which is what I would gather is the reason why I didn't take so much hull damage on that one. But let's take a look and see the damage that was done. So 29, 28. That 34 is getting boosted by Nero's ability. 34, 28, 29. So it's definitely doing more damage to the factions versus the neutral. So that's interesting. Alright guys, so those battles were pretty interesting. It seemed across the board, and keep in mind I couldn't find a level 35 Ramen Explorer. It was either 34 or 36 that all I could find. But it seemed across the board that it was the same damage. I took a little less damage against the independent Explorer. However, that power of that ship was 100 less than the Federation and the Klingon ship. So ultimately, I don't think that ability is working, and I hope that Scopely will be working on a repair for that, because ultimately that is the ship bonus is definitely one of the things that is so great about each and every different ship in the game. So hopefully there's going to be a fix on that. I haven't seen anything so far. If anyone has seen anything about that, please comment and put that down below. But one of the last things I wanted to show you was at tier 6, what are the repair costs? So with my research fully maxed on battleship repairs, and it is 146,000 trit and 7,800 dilithium to fully repair my Legionnaire at tier 6. Now keep in mind that's probably a little bit higher because my crew setup is extending that hull health. However, this is the general ballpark for where it is. So keep that in mind when it comes to the ship. Definitely when you have bigger ships, you're going to need a bigger bank of resources, and it is definitely going to be a struggle, and you have to be very selective of what you're using the ship for. Is it going to be worth the resources that it's going to take to repair that ship? So just keep that in mind. But my end review on this ship is it's definitely worth it. I really like the ship. It allows me to do upper game content that I wasn't able to do before. It is definitely cheaper to upgrade than my Centurion, and I still see it performing battle-wise incredibly good. I think my concern going into this video was that the ship itself wouldn't perform on par with ships you earn or some of the faction ships. And I don't think that's the case whatsoever. So definitely think this is a great ship. But if you have any questions about it, definitely leave them down below. Really appreciate everyone checking out this video, and comment, like, and hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys later. Be kind to one another and have a good day.